Whether it's hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, earthquakes, being properly prepared in the event of a disaster can save your life and your loved ones as well. People don't always take the time and the steps to properly prepare, though. So during National Preparedness Month, OnStar is supporting FEMA, America's Prepare-a-thon. It's a national campaign to increase emergency preparedness. James Bell, he is head of consumer affairs, General Motors, and Mary Ann Adams, crisis incident manager for OnStar, are joining us now to talk about more. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
So what is it, being prepared for disaster? I mean, you would think with such a catastrophic event being able to happen, people just aren't taking the steps to be prepared. Why do you think that is?
They kind of take it for granted that it's never going to happen to them, right? If it's been a long time since they've experienced a disaster, then they think, definitely, I don't need to be prepared, and they're not thinking about it. It's not top of mind, which is why this America's Prepare-a-thon is important. It's trying to reignite people's thoughts to think about, yes, it is important to be prepared, especially with the extreme weather that we've been seeing over the past few years.
Especially here in Florida, where we are prone to hurricanes during hurricane season. So what would you say would maybe be some of the major steps that people need to take to be proactive and prepare for disaster?
Just like you mentioned, one of the first things that people should do to be prepared is be aware of the different types of things that can impact your community, the different types of disasters. So for sure for Florida, hurricanes, right? Severe storms, wildfires, those are all kinds of different things that impact Florida. And so you want to be aware of those, and how do you prepare for those. And the next thing you want to do is you really want to make weather a part of your daily life. Be aware of what the weather is going to be like, because weather can change quickly. So check the weather in the morning before you leave. And if the weather is going to be bad during the day, check it again. Do you need to leave work early to go pick up your kids, or to avoid getting caught in some conditions on your way home? And then check it before you go to bed, because if there's going to be really bad weather the next day, the best thing to do really is to stay home, unless you need to evacuate to a shelter, obviously for hurricane reasons. So again, make weather a part of your daily life. And then develop a family communications plan. Oftentimes disasters may happen when you're not together. The kids are at school, you're at work. How are you going to communicate with each other? Where are you going to meet? How are you going to let each other know that you're okay? So it's important to think those things through, write them down, and walk through them with your family so that everybody knows and everybody is less tense when a disaster hits in terms of what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, great advice, Mary Ann. Thank you. And James, talk to us about our vehicles. What do we need to do when it comes to our means of transportation? How can we protect that?
You know, vehicles today are so reliable and durable, we just assume that we just get in them and they drive for us every time. But there are some things that we do need to pay attention to that are kind of designed to wear out or be replaced. Key amongst these is the tires. Got to check that tire pressure. Make sure it's correct. Also check the tire tread depth. If it's off, replace these tires before you go out on the road, especially if you start getting the wet and cold weather. And by the way, this also has a big impact on your fuel efficiency. So get that tire pressure right and make sure the tires are good. Also batteries. You know, the shift in seasons between hot to colder weather has a big impact on a battery. You don't want to find out that your battery is run its course when you're stuck at the side of the road somewhere. So have the battery tested. If it doesn't meet specification, have that battery replaced. You'll be really glad you did. And the last thing is just some of the fluids on board. You know, I think something that a lot of people don't pay attention to is windshield washer fluid and the wipers themselves. You want to make sure that the wipers are good and that there's plenty of fluid on board. During the summertime, you're obviously just cleaning rain off the window, so not quite as scary as when you get into the wintertime. Start getting a lot of road grime, maybe some frost, some ice, and so you need that washer fluid to help break that up and keep your visibility strong.
James, Mary, and you have the America's Prepare-a-thon coming up. How can our viewers participate in this and help get prepared?
America's Prepare-a-thon is actually a national grassroots campaign sponsored by FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and you can participate anytime. This month is dedicated to getting the word out, but actually you can participate anytime. So get your family together, whether it be your community or your school or your workplace, and go to FEMA's website, which is ready.gov, and and you can sign up to be an official participant, but you don't really need to do that. You just need to start taking those steps and realize that it is important to be prepared. And one of the easiest things to do, again, is to start to get your kit prepared and talk to your family about what you'll do during an emergency.
Thank you for all of your advice that you gave us today and helping us get prepared in the event that something like this does happen. How about a website where we can get more information?
Yeah, FEMA's website is the best place to go to get information about disaster preparedness, whether it be before, during, or after a disaster. They give you all different kinds of steps to follow. They also have all different types of disasters out there, and that website is ready.gov. And if you want to learn more about OnStar and GM, you can go to onstar.com and gm.com.
Marianne, James, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to have more on our website. Just go to fox4morningblend.com.
Up next, your Friday is not complete without a visit from our favorite fashionista. Your style guide for the weekend is in just 2 minutes.